Hey guys, so I got a lot of requests to show how I made the sidewalk on this card that I posted, and links to this post will be in the sidebar for those that haven't seen this before. It's really easy to do, and actually my friend Lauren has done a video on it, but for the life of me I can't find it to link to, so I'll just do this one, and I'll also link to her blog as well in the sidebar, because if you haven't checked out her blog you should, because it's fabulous. But anyway, it's super easy. So all you do is you stamp your image. I've got it all colored out. This is one of the new autumn sugar plum stamps, and again, links to everything will be in the sidebar. So all you need is a ruler, pencil, and if you're coloring with Copics you need a black marker or pen that will not smear, so I'm using one of the Copic multi-liners. And another thing to note is when you are drawing in any sort of image to go with a stamped image, try to use a pen width that is similar to the line width here. Because if you use something like, say, that has a thicker lined image and you use something that's really thin or way too thick, it doesn't match up very evenly and it just doesn't look right. So this is a 0.05 and it does pretty good. Sometimes I'll kind of thicken it up myself if it doesn't look right. But anyway, so all you do is decide how far up on the cardstock you want your sidewalk to go, and I think just about here is going to be good. So I'll just make a light little pencil line with using a ruler. Okay, got interrupted by the phone there, but anyway, now I want to add the lines on the sidewalk, and I always do those kind of diagonally just to give it a bit more interest. And the most kind of more important thing is to kind of make sure that if you're doing more than one line that they line up. So that's where the ruler comes in handy. So that's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to go over it with my black marker, but this time I'm not going to use the ruler. I want to make it look a little more realistic. So I'm just going to do this by hand, so it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And I'm not going to do just a completely solid line either. I'll do a couple dots and a dash or two just to break up the image a little. And then same thing with the diagonal lines. All there is to that. Give that a second to dry and then just erase the pencil lines. And that's all there was to it. So your little sidewalk's drawn in, and all that's left to do is to color it. So I'm going to take my C00, C1, and C3 markers. I'm just going to kind of color. Normally when you color with the Copics you start with the lightest and work your way to the darkest. When I'm doing something like this with the sidewalk, I honestly don't care all that much because it's all going to get blended and I don't spend a ton of time working on it. So I'm just going to kind of add in the darkest where there'd be a little bit of shadow and along the lines just to give it a little more depth. Those in there. And I actually forgot to add that little bit of sidewalk. Right there. So there we go. Then go back. So I did my C3, which was the darkest. I'm gonna go in with my C1 and just kind of sort of start blending out that darker. And then last but not least, go in with the lightest, which is the C00. And really saturate the cardstock this time with this color because that is what blends all three of the grays together. Now if you want you can go back in and add a little more of the darker colors and make it look how you want it to. And just quickly blend it out again with the lightest. And if you work quickly while the cardstock is still wet, this just is really quick and easy. Because if the cardstock is still wet, everything just blends a lot faster and a lot smoother. It's a lot less work, so you can just see, just quickly go over it, and that's it. Now, I don't like leaving it just like that. It still looks like you got this big empty white space, so I'm going to go in with some green and add a little bit of grass, and that just kind of finishes everything off. So I've just chosen 3 different greens, my lightest being YG25, then I've got YG67, and then I've got another Copic multiliner, which is in olive. And the reason why I'm using just different colors is that gives it also just more definition and more texture. And I just use the super brush nib on the Copic markers to make grass, and you just flick. That's all you do. I do it kind of random. Some I'll do, like, depends on how you press too. The harder you press, the thicker the grass will be. If you do really light strokes like that, it'll be thinner. But I just kind of do it a little random, and I'll add a little to the cracks in the sidewalk too, just for fun. I can go back and add some more. Now I'll go in with my YG67 and do the exact same thing. So this time I'll use even a lighter touch, just barely touching the marker to the cardstock. Just like so. And then finally I'll go in with this multi-liner, and the reason I love using this one is because it's got like a super fine tip to it, and that just really adds the definition to the finished image. So that's all there is to it. Super easy, kind of fun to play around with, and it just really helps to complete the stamped image before you put it on a card. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if you have any questions or comments, just post them below in the comments section, as well as you can check out my link to the finished card on my blog. That will be in the sidebar as well. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!